The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, says their legal team has already received firm instruction to file an appeal against the decision of the Presidential Election Petition Court. Obi disclosed this on Thursday at a press conference in Onitsha, Anambra State, while reacting to the five-man panel led by Justice Haruna Samani, which upheld the victory of President Bola Tinubu. He went further to say that although he and the Labour Party respected the views and rulings of the court, they disagreed with the court's proceedings and the court's reasoning and conclusions in the judgment it delivered.
Today, 6th of September 2023, the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, finally delivered its long-awaited judgments on petitions challenging the outcome of the presidential election held on 25th of February 2023. This judgment was delivered within the statutory time frame under the extant status. We acknowledge the court's contributions to due process and seeming attempt to strengthen our democracy. As petitioners in this case, we respect the views and ruling of the court, but we disagree with the court's reasoning and conclusions in the judgment it delivered. It is my intention as the presidential candidate and the intention of Labour Party to challenge this judgment by way of appeal immediately as allowed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The PEPC has rendered its judgment, but that esteemed body is not the final arbiter. The responsibility now falls on the Supreme Court. I do know that the judgment is not conterminous with justice. I implore Nigerians to remain focused, steadfast, and peaceful, and to abide by the rule of law and understand this matter has not reached its logical conclusion. Our legal team has already received our firm instruction to file an appeal against the decision. I shall not relent in quest for justice, not necessarily for myself, but for our teeming supporters all over Nigeria, whose mandate to us at the post was regrettably truncated by INEC. The strength and value of our democracy reside on solid national institutions and our confidence in them. Electoral litigations will almost be unnecessary and non-existent if the Independent National Electoral Commission discharges its statutory functions creditably, transparently, and with tenable fairness. When that body fails, as it did recently, thus subverting the will of Nigerian voters, the recourse to judiciary becomes imperative, as is now the case. I thank every Nigerian who has supported our cause and campaign for a new Nigeria, characterized by fairness, equity, justice, rule of law, peace, prosperity, inclusiveness, sustainable growth and development. A new Nigeria is possible and achievable. I especially thank our legal team, the Labour Party and the obedient family, and all those who showed up daily during our court trials. God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
There you have it. That, of course, is a statement of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, as he's rejected the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal and will then be heading to court. Now, there have been reactions, of course, that continue to trail the verdict of the Presidential Elections Petition Tribunal that affirmed the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's president. The 12-hour judgment led by Haruna Samani dismissed all three petitions challenging Mr. Tinubu's election in his lead judgment, a decisive judicial resolution of the credibility questions that have hovered around his election for over 6 months. News Central's Adeshewa Odushoga reports.
No legal challenge to a presidential election has ever succeeded since 1999, one that we have seen played out again in the 2023 presidential election. The decision of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal have generated diverse reactions, one that has returned victory to the sitting president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, against the candidacy of Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar.
Yesterday's judgment, final verdict or reading, has exhumed another ghost of international shame in regard of this illegitimate government.
The same INEC, if to the election said election results will be transmitted electronically. I held on to that word. Now INEC went to the courts and then different things came up. Which is, see, I think it will get to a time in this part of the world, INEC will appeal to Nigerians to come out and vote because so many Nigerians have lost hope.
The judgment did not only favor the APC, the judgment favor the other party. Where we have like two National Assembly that was being taken away from the APC and give it to the PDP candidates in Kogi State, to Dragan, if I may correct. They gave it to the national. They took it away from the APC and they gave it to PDP. So and I think that one favor PDP too.
No, in Nigerian legal jurisprudence, it is based on evidence. Unfortunately, personally, I'm not satisfied. I was not satisfied with the electoral process. But you cannot entirely fault the electoral tribunal if what they did is based on law and technicality. I think the people to be blamed majorly is the umpire, INEC.
Activist and founder of Citizens Hub, Aisha Yusufu, while speaking on News Central's flagship program, expressed her displeasure over the verdict of the tribunal, adding that the judgment will be appealed at the Supreme Court.
I don't have any business trusting the Nigerian judiciary. I don't trust the Nigerian judiciary. The only thing is to overwhelm them with evidence. That's my take. And yes, our Labour Party should go to the Supreme Court. If you're saying to INEC, you can set your guidelines, but you don't need to follow it. It's setting a precedent that is going to take Nigerian election back decades, where violence is going to come back again, just like what we had when the card reader was not admissible in court.
Nigerians have decided and the candidates have contested, but the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal have read out their verdict. One of the key takeaways from this is that this may start to birth more voter apathy in subsequent elections, with many expressing distrust for the judicial process in the country. From Lagos, Adeshawa Odeshoga reporting for News Central.
Oh, well. Additional with that report, and I believe that it's also fair that we do like a another just a quick report, a survey on maybe 1,500 people across the state or across the country, just to hear what their views are, on what the tribunal is, even if it doesn't matter. I think it's one of the things that was mentioned yesterday that the courts or the law doesn't care about people's emotions. Anybody can say, oh, the tribunal has not delivered what is what the Nigerian people want. You can have that argument, but it doesn't. Those things don't matter in the court of law, and you're a lawyer, so what they will deal with, a statement of fact, and of course being able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that they have a strong case. They of course have argued that the PDP and the Labour Party did not have strong enough cases, to prove beyond reasonable doubt that they won the election. But one other thing that is also important to mention, I think, like Demola said this morning, that whatever is decided at the tribunal and even going forward would set precedents for what happens in the future, because other court cases in the future are going to rely back on this. These rulings in future elections. We're going to rely and say on these rulings and say, okay, is the 25% in Abuja important or not? Is INEC meant to transfer results, on its IRF portal or not? Is that meant to be the legal and the, approved way of transferring results? And those are the results that would be legitimate, basically, and should be counted for each candidate or not? Those are the things that will be important, because if INEC, can randomly just decide that even after assuring Nigerians that results will be transferred, on its IRF portal, assured Nigerians that after counting, the polling unit officer there will transfer the result, take a picture. I remember Festus Okoye was on different interviews on different television stations, including this television station, saying that that was exactly how the elections would be carried out and the results were going to be transferred. Even after doing that, then post-election, they suddenly now can say that it's no longer important, or the courts can say that that is no longer important. Then it would be important to know what the 2027 elections will be in the future, not just 2027 state elections that are coming. Those state elections, are coming, and I think 2 or 3 other states are coming next couple of months or years. What will be the format that INEC will use in transferring results? Will BVAS be relevant or not? And these are things that will be important going forward.
Absolutely.
If a candidate, for example, in the double nomination thing, if a candidate has his deputy break any of those laws, or is nominated twice, or is holding 2 positions at the same time, will it be important in the future that they go to court and then the court will say, well, it doesn't matter anymore because the 2023 Election Tribunal has declared that the candidate didn't do it intentionally? It's a
myriad
mess.
of many questions
Yes,
that
and
need to be answered, really.
Yeah, and once, like Demola had said, these are things that will determine what directions that we take in the future and what the court cases will be like going forward, and the sanctity of Nigeria's electoral space and its leadership recruitment process in the future. If they do not get it, whatever the Supreme Court decides, basically, will determine.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We'll see. And of course, still looking out for celebration across the country.
All right, we of course will be waiting to see the reactions of more Nigerians and see how it goes, how we go on from here.